Welcome back to Montreal Connected. Time now to check in with Wilder for the last word with Stephen Brunt, where this week the chat literally revolves around Blue Jays pitcher RA Dickey.
Hi Stephen, welcome back to Montreal Connected.
Hey Wilder, how are you?
Okay, so today we're talking about RA Dickey, Robert Allen Dickey. Now, here's a guy that isn't your typical athlete. He's not your off-the-shelf athlete, so to say. You spent some time with him. Can you give us some background on RA?
Well, he is a fascinating character. He is one of the most fascinating guys I've run into in sport. A guy who broke into the major leagues as a conventional pitcher, big talent, big expectations, didn't quite pan out that way, and then transformed himself with the knuckleball into a Cy Young Award winner in the National League last year. But a lot more to him than that. A guy who has been very open about some of the issues in his life, wrote a book about how he was sexually abused as a child. Has a lot of interest in a lot of different causes. Was in India with his family, traveling there to deal with the child sex trade in India. He runs deep, R.A. Dickey, and he is not one of those guys that just spouts out sports cliches.
No, obviously a really interesting guy off the field. How does he fit in with the Jays?
You know, R.A. Dickey is a different cat, and you know, he stood out from the minute he arrived in that clubhouse. He is extraordinarily articulate. He's very comfortable in front of a camera as well. And I think they're still getting to know him and kind of getting to understand him as a pitcher, you know, including the catchers who've had to learn how to catch that knuckleball.
What's the science behind the knuckleball? There's not many pitchers. I think he's the only one in the majors that's throwing this pitch.
He's the only one that's throwing it consistently, yeah. And it is about, you know, you think about the fastball, the curveball, the slider, you know, all of those pitches are about imparting a spin on the ball, trying to make it spin in a certain way so it breaks a certain way. The knuckleball is the opposite. You're trying to make sure it doesn't spin, so it's kind of this dead fish coming at you. And because of that, it can move down, it can move sideways, it can do all kinds of weird things in a very unpredictable manner. You know, to have been recognized as the best pitcher in the National League last year after figuring this out, you know, in his late 30s, that's a great story in its own right.
Stephen, thanks for doing this. I'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week, Wilder.